Okay, I had a little hiccup trying to get on, but here I am. Hi, everybody. This is Patricia Cori coming to you live from the bright, sunny Azores Islands. And for starters, I want you to know, since I've had so much feedback about my bangs. Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Oh, good. Okay. I have actually acquiesced, which is not something I usually do, to the people who want to see my eyes more. So here, got a little clip, and here's my little cute face, my little hair out of my eyes, and hopefully I won't have to hear about that today. So it'll take a few minutes to get everybody in. So before I really get rolling, I'll just say hello to everyone and let people come in, because we had such an amazing time last time. I really hope that we pick up that same vibe and expand it on more. So hi, RJ, thank you for being here. Simply Sax, Lizette, hello, darling. Maria, welcome. And yes, hello, beautiful people indeed. Hi, Bob, Tamara, always there for me. Thank you. Marta? Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Hi, George. Oh, I love being called gorgeous. That works, even with my little bangs clipped back. It's okay. I can do it. WT. Where's everybody? Oh, lots of people coming in. Isn't it wonderful? Scotland. Top of the morning to you. That's Ireland, I think. Pedro. Hello, beautiful. All the way from Panama. So while we're waiting for people to come in, I'm going to do my mantra, my sacred mantra, to call in sacred space and protect us, which is something I do all the time, as I mentioned last time. So let's take that moment and call upon the angel warriors of light, the guardianship, beings of the highest realms, the Christed extraterrestrials, the Sirian High Council, all those of the highest intention. We ask to be encircled in an impenetrable blanket of golden white light. Let it hold as a barrier against any energies that are not of the highest intention. I had to open my eyes for that one. We ask that they be bounced back to their source and dealt with as is appropriate to their karmic destiny, whatever that might be. And into this sacred space, we invite the highest intention, the brightest light, and the one heart. Aho, Great Spirit. Okay, Tamara. So, boy, oh boy, crazy week, man. I've got, let's see how many people are in, 44. I'd like to just give people a little bit more time, because last time we had almost 200 people. So, is the sound okay? Because I have the window open because I need air. Let me know if it's disturbing the microphone. My light is on, baby, all the time, through thick and thin. Okay, sound is good. Well, all right. I hope that you've all had a moderately calm week, considering what's going on this planet. Hi, Laura. Thank you for being here. Hi, Linda B. I'm so happy you're here, too. Our numbers are growing. Okay, that's good. I'm glad the sound is okay, because I got this airflow thing going on. So some of the questions that have come in are like last time, really simple and then really more complicated and more intense. Hi, Peter. I'm glad you tuned in. Thank you. So I'm going to start with the simple stuff. Well, maybe not simple, but something that I think is important. I have been talking a lot. Well, we're all talking about 5G and what that means for our health. Hi, Suzanne from Brighton. Lots of people from England today. Thank you. Sharon Loeb from Iowa. Say what you want about the internet. Isn't it just amazing? Hey, Jane, not only did you make it into my friends group, but now you're here as well. Good. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Veronica. Hold your questions for just a minute, or what'll happen is they'll slip up, and then I will not have been able to capture them. So I was going to start by talking about 5G, which I said I was going to talk about the simple things, but there's nothing simple about that. So people are asking me, what can we do to protect ourselves against this? Because we recognize that it's being put in place in so many places now. And there is, of course, the question of how that connects with the health issue. Can you believe that you can't say the word or you get bounced off YouTube? How ridiculous. So I have talked about this before, and I want to talk about it again. You all know, well, if you don't know what a Faraday cage is, it is a interruption. Thank you, Sharon. Wasn't it great? I just love Laura Eisenhower. What a voice. And Magenta Pixie was on that one too. And we'll be doing more together. Durban, Siva. Thank you. Oh, that's a beautiful thing to say, Siva. Thank you. Thank you all for your energies that bring balance to the current paradigm. Thank you, Joanna. Yeah, I use it all the time, and it's in place in case you weren't here for it. I started before everybody started coming on. I always start everything with that sacred space mantra. Hi, Linda. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Linda Whitefeather. All right, so I was talking about protection from 5G. Well, needless to say, this is such an enormous question. It has so many layers. It has so many ramifications. And it starts, of course, I've already talked about this to nauseam, of getting away from the phone, getting away from computers, getting absolutely away from television and technology and whatever. So I'm not going to bore you with that. Hi, Erin. Thank you for being here. And Corina. Hello, darling. But I wanted to remind you, when we talk about the cell phone, I happen to have one right here, that aside from 5G, there's nonetheless radiation surrounding us everywhere. So I came across this guy. Hold your question, okay, Ursula? Because if I remember to ask me again, because I will need you guys to repeat the questions because they float on up to the top of the chat and then I forget them, or I haven't had a chance to answer them. So I saw this wonderful scientist, engineer, who did a presentation on how to mute or nullify or diminish the radiation output from all your devices. So he talked about the Faraday cage, which is very expensive. That is a steel mesh device, like a container that you can put around your cell phone. Interesting enough, the dear Ghislaine, who we now know is in jail, Ghislaine Maxwell, when she was trying to evade the police and the FBI, she put a tinfoil wrap around her cell phone. That got her into a lot of trouble, but obviously it must have been a technique she learned in school, if you get my drift. So there's a lot to be said for experimenting with ways to diminish the influence of the emanations that come from your devices. And personally, I don't really trust the ones you buy. I want to see the little things you stick on your phone. Let me see some serious tests and proof that these things really dramatically reduce exposure to electromagnetic radiation, particularly from the phone and from the modem. So this man was doing that. He had a sort of Geiger counter, and he was testing the phone, the modem, and all of these devices, and showing what readings were coming up, which were way beyond anything any human should be near, from a simple cell phone, from a simple modem. And then he said, there's no need to go out and buy expensive equipment when all you need, ta-da, is a steel mesh trash bin. And you can also get steel mesh cups that you can hold your pens or whatever in, but a steel mesh trash bin, which is what it has to be steel, which is what this is. And I picked it up for $30. when you put the cell phone and the modem and all your goodies in here, and he recommends placing it up as high as possible and as far away from you as possible, the devices still work, the phone still rings, the modem still works, but it scrambles the electromagnetic output, the radiation from the devices. It seems to just, instead of emanating out, they get trapped behind this steel mesh and stay inside it. And his measure, that's a really good news, Veronica. His measure, in the video, I'm so sorry I can't quote the video, but I'll try to find it and post that link, was remarkable. It went down almost to zero when the devices were in the steel mesh cage. So right now I don't have my modem in it because I forgot. But it will go back in at the end of this talk. So get yourself, Veronica just said they're $1 in a dollar store. Okay, don't be confused, however, because you can also find aluminum ones and cheapy ones. This is steel. You need steel, okay? Don't settle for less. Don't settle for cheap. $30 is cheap enough. So see if you can pick one of these up and keep your devices inside. As for the question, the bigger question of 5G, I wish I had an answer. I really wish I had an answer. There's a lot we can talk about with that, and a lot that we have been talking about regarding that. And as you know, I had the pleasure of spending time with Mark Steele in UK, who is your go-to guy, brilliant guy who knows just about everything there is to know about 5G. And he has shared so much about how this is a weapon system against the human race. He's a little heavy, but it's a heavy subject. So I was in the car with Mark aside from being a co-speaker with him at Carrie Cassidy's event in England last year, I also spent about 40 minutes with him in the car driving to dinner. And he just, he pointed out so many things that I couldn't believe were happening. So I recommend that you investigate him if you want the real lowdown. This guy has gone to jail a couple of times trying to inform the public, and he is simply a warrior, and he's not going to stop until he educates as many people as possible about what's going on and what he wants to do about it. So Mark Steele, Steele, is your go-to guy for that. Hi, Sarah, you're not late. We're just really getting started. Thank you. I am one now. Hi, Juliet. I owe you a call. I'm so sorry I haven't gotten to it. I haven't forgotten you. And thank you for coming in. I promise I will. Next week is calmer. Oh my God. Thank you all for booking sessions with me. I have had an extraordinary amount of people booking clairvoyant readings and counseling and coaching with me. And my schedule has been hysterical. And in fact, I have a wait list for next week, and then it clears for the week after. So if you're interested in a reading, please get in touch with me knowing that I'm booked up for next week and that we can talk about the week after. Okay. Alessandro Ambrosio from the Canary Islands. Love it. Oh, what does he say? Abandon the cities. You got it. Downshift your life and go back to a self-sufficient lifestyle. Can't have the wife drunk, the barrel full. I am the real proponent for simplifying your life, and I walk my talk. You will agree, considering that I live on an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and that during this health issue, I have actually been marooned here. We've had they're starting to come back now, flights, but we had no flights. No ships allowed in port. And I thought, well, I'll be darned. I'm marooned on an island in the middle of the Atlantic. Oh, and it just happened to be part of Atlantis. How cool is that? All right. Joanna, welcome back. Yeah, I'm happy to see you're back too, Joanne. How did you get an exemption card? Oh, that's for Karina. Okay. Hi, Luciana. All right, one more thing. So, lots of requests for the Sirian Seal. I'm getting all the business out of the way first. The Sirian Seal, I have only about 40 left now, but I'm working on getting a new supply. It's going to take a while. So this is the Sirian Seal the copper one. So I am going to do something cool today. At the bottom of the chat platform, you see a little dollar sign, a little icon with a dollar sign. It's called Super Chat. And there you can generously donate, if you so are inclined, any amount to my channel, which is much appreciated. And that'll make your name pop up, and you can put in a particular question you want answered, and that'll have a priority. And the person who I'm going to, for today and for the next 5 live sessions I do, the highest chat that comes in, I'm going to give away a seal, which has a 35 euro value plus shipping included. So that's my way of giving back. And I've set aside 5 of those 40 seals for that. So check it out. It's right at the bottom of the chat box. And it's called Super Chat. And you can put in your question and comments and whatever. And I'd really appreciate it. I want to see it get going too. Right. You ordered one last week? Oh, Linda, please be patient if you're, the shipping is beyond reality. I'm waiting for something to come from the United States. It's 6 weeks now. So I have gotten all of the orders that came in have shipped. So please be patient and know that it might take, and remember, they're coming from a little island off of Portugal. Might take anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. Okay. So don't be cranky and trust me that I follow them and everything has been managed. You can't see the dollar sign? Uh-oh. Okay, so I'm in Portugal in the Azores Island. Can anybody else see it? Okay, look at all the little chat icons, and at the bottom there's a little gray box. Good, I'm so glad you can see it, Karina. Okay, Karina can see it. It's under, what I'm looking at is Patricia Cori, say something. What do I need to say? I'm talking. All right, you can see it. And under that, Patricia Cori, say something, there's this little gray box with a dollar sign in. That's where you can donate. And then, as I said, the highest donation today gets the Sirian Seal. I think that's a great trade-off. So do what you can and support this girl. Oh, really? All right, somebody else press on it and see if it says error for you too. That means I haven't got it installed well. I need a helper. I wasn't born to do technology. I thought I had done it right. Somebody else, just check. You click on it. You still have. It doesn't mean you're engaged, but it'll tell you if it's working. Is it working? Black box. Does anyone know how to fix it? Nova Scotia. I've been there. Mamma mia, it's so beautiful. I went. Oh, it works. Yay. Okay. Fantastic. Well, you know what to do. So I went to Nova Scotia years ago to go with the humpback whales. And I'll tell you a little story. Oh my God, it was really cold. That's like, new for Canada, but really cold. There were glaciers in the ocean. And I went out on a little boat several times in a week. I think I went out 5 times to see the humpbacks. Oh my God, imagine seeing humpback whales breaching in the ocean with glaciers behind them. Glaciers. It was just amazing. All right, well, guys, it works, says super sticker. Whatever, see if it works. And yeah, you have to click on the dollar sign. I hope it works because it's all brand new for me. And thank you for trying. Right. Okay. So that, what was I saying about I was talking about I want to do that again. If the universe decides to free us up from this ridiculous hold the world politics has on us, that will be another wonderful soul quest journey that I organize back to Canada, because here in the island, I also do a soul quest return to Atlantis journey where we swim with wild dolphins, and I mean wild, out in the ocean. I'm not talking about they come in close to the humans, like in Egypt, into the bay. Oh my God, the first one! Sun Trekker. I got my first donation. How cool is that? Keep it up. I will. Oh, that is so cool. Love it. Thank you very much. So when I was first coming to swim with wanted to swim with dolphins when I was channeling the book Before We Leave You, I knew I had to swim with wild dolphins because how can I channel them? How can I be in my highest ethics if I haven't been in the water with them? It's a con. I have to do it. So I looked at going to either Egypt or the Azores because I talked to a tour operator and I said, where do I go to swim with wild dolphins immediately? And they said the ones in Egypt are a little bit more tame because they come in every day and, you know, they're sort of acclimatized. I said, I don't want tame. I want wild, like me. So then they said, okay, well, then you need to go to the Azores. But it's, you know, do you know how to swim? Sure. And that's how my whole story evolved, which you may have already heard me talk about. But when I went to Canada to see the humpbacks, because here we don't have that many, we have different species here, but not so many humpbacks. Oh my God, the ocean was full of them. And the exhilaration of being on this little Zodiac boat with these glaciers, knowing that if you fell over the edge of the boat, you'd be dead in 40 seconds because of the cold. And try to dig this. And I know that I have an Indiana Jones personality. Imagine being on this the Zodiac pontoon boat. I mean, we're talking little boats. The water is right next to you. You could stick your hand in it. And it was snowing. So when people come here to swim with the dolphins with me and it's a rainy day and they go, oh my God, Patricia, oh, Terry, thank you. I'm loving it. Oh, that's a sweetheart. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. And you're the top dog for the seal. We shall see. At any rate, what was I saying again? Swimming with the dolphins. Oh, yeah. Imagine. So I tell people, what are you worried about rain? I've been on the boat when it's snowing. That's where the adventure is, man. Sometimes I even ask myself, how do I get this personality, this adventurous spirit? I think I was born with it. But there's also the question, what's the problem if it's raining when you're going to be jumping in the water with the dolphins? Right? But snow is different. Okay, thank you so much again, Terry. And let's see what else. Buenos Aires, boy, we are an international group today and our numbers are growing. Thank you. So one of the questions I got for today is, what do you think about the Goya food situation? What's that all about? And I think you're going to be surprised at my response. My response is, so what's happening is that Trump had Bob Unanue, I think this is the way you pronounce his name, in the White House. He's the president of Goya Foods. And clearly, this was a political move for the Hispanic vote, let's face it. And up to here, we're good. And it fits in with Trump's profile about food supply and whatever. Clearly, courting the Hispanic vote, that's all right. But what I don't like, and why I say it, you'll be surprised, is because I always have told you I want to see both sides of the picture at all times. And what I don't like about this is that Ivanka, who is, in my opinion, has a privileged position in the White House that she doesn't merit. But at any rate, she comes out with an ad. What does she say? If it's Goya, it has to be good. And needless to say, the left went berserk over it and started boycotting Goya foods, and it's become a big bailiwick. So the point is here, number one, it is against ethics to promote the use of a public office, particularly the White House, particularly the presidency, to endorse a product for political gain or for any gain. And I decry this action For once, I agree with the left on this issue. I don't appreciate the fact that Ivanka Trump stood with a picture of herself on Twitter. If it's Goya, it's got to be good. That's not acceptable. I'm surprised. I'm very disappointed in Trump, and that's a thumbs down when he came out also with some of the products on his desk. And no, you don't get to endorse product for political gain as the president. I'd like to know what other people think of this. So please share your comments about that. I'm sure we don't agree, but that is my position on it. So that was in answer to someone's question. Let's see what's going on here. Show. Marta says she agrees. Yeah, it was really inappropriate. It was, at a time when Trump has a lot of battles to fight. It was very poor judgment at best. And I didn't appreciate it. And I'm not a happy camper about it. And I really like to see Ivanka moved into the background because I just don't think she represents anybody. But what are you going to do? Right. Okay. What was the next question that I had to talk about? Pulcher Pulca from Italy. Ciao bello. George says, I heard they did it to show us he's clearing companies. What does that mean, George? Can you elaborate? Maybe reasons unknown. Well, at a time when you're trying to win hearts. Sorry about the background noise. And, speak ethics, speak truth, etc. I thought it was poor judgment. Steve says, I hope you're well. Would like to know if there is a concern of 5G coming to the Azores. I have been reading that they're trying to make the Azores. Yes, so far, no, I mean, not yes, they're coming. So far, no, but that doesn't mean it's not coming. I'm seeing them doing some interesting rewiring of the big electric poles here. And that doesn't make me very happy. But at this time, we have no sign of 5G here. And, I'm thinking, how much further out do I have to go? Wouldn't it be nice to just buy your own island and just Avida Zane completely? But anyway, hoping and praying that it doesn't come here. And so far, we have no news of it. Maria says, I don't agree with the boycott. I don't agree with the politicization of this issue. So, of course, you're going to have the opposition take that stance. In other words, here we have a situation where that problem was predicated by action from the Trump office, created the backlash. Now, note that this guy, what's his name? I wrote it down. Unanue also visited the Obama White House, and there was no backlash then. So, he's obviously an important person, and he obviously has an effect on the Hispanic vote. And I just prefer that this would not have taken place, but it has. And let's hope that it calms down because it wasn't, I just don't think it was a smart move. Could the Trump thing have been to activate the patriots and show the power they have with regard to the Goya food? I'm not sure what you mean, but let's talk about it. Veronica, what about China? What's your question about China, Veronica? Please restate the question. The left is imposing all this anti-Trump to expose celebrity, blah, 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 Trump. So I think this was in relation. Yeah, well, everything is against Trump all the time, as far as the media and Hollywood, etc. I'm just suggesting that this was not such a good move on the part of the White House. You don't promote a product from the White House seat. Love your shoes. What do you mean, Steve? Love your shoes. I meant sorry, typo. When will they be free? Who, the Chinese? It's not looking good, Veronica. The bigger question is, how much influence will China have on the rest of the world? And how much freedom are we going to lose as this insipid spread of communists covers the globe? Goya Food, I believe, saying to the public, do your digging on the company. I believe Trump saying to the public, do your digging. Well, then he should say it. Anyway, that's enough about Goya Foods. I am not an expert on what happened, but I do think that it was bad judgment. And, we need to be able, I obviously am a pro-Trump person, but as I've said over and over again, we need to be willing to examine his actions and his policies and be malleable enough to recognize good and not so good moves. I don't think this was a good move. And again, I prefer that Ivanka moves out of the scene. All right, Elaine says China has taken over South Africa. China is real trouble. I don't know. I'm staying out of the news at the moment. So there is so much war posturing going on. China, South Seas, Africa, Manifest Destiny. We've got Iran rambunctious it's just a fragile moment. But we're used to that, right? I mean, right? Let's just pray, and we keep praying that somewhere in the realms of the politicon are people with cool heads. Well, that's your opinion, Mary. It wasn't bad judgment. I think it was, and I'm not in argument mode at all. I think it was bad judgment. It certainly, I who look forward to things coming from Trump, did not appreciate this Goya bit. At any rate, I just wish he hadn't done it, and I wish Ivanka would get out of the scene. That's my position on that. Terry, is China's weird weather HAARP or divine intervention? HAARP. Let's talk about that. I mean, I see these horrific chemtrailed, oily, gelatinous formations in the sky. Not here, fortunately, but images where people are celebrating that they're divine, angelic, super messages from the ninth dimension. And I don't want to rain on anybody's umbrella to say, actually, no, what you're seeing is not rainbows. You're seeing the refraction of light and this oozy, metallic, rainbow-esque colors oozing through the chemicals and the oils. And I don't ever really say that to anyone because it's their right to celebrate what they think they're seeing. And I don't want to be the bad news bear, but yeah, it's hard. The weather on this planet, the United States, the military complex, as Eisenhower called it, the military corporate complex, has been working on weather control for over 40 years, since World War II. And they've always said what in documents that you can read. In fact, I quoted it in the New Sirian Revelations in the preface. There is documentation about what they've been doing since the war, since beyond the war, and that the ultimate weapon is weather control. Thank you very much, Manly Sharafian. Your seals are on the way. What do you see energetically about Iran? Let me write that down because I promised to answer all of your questions on the super chat. What do I see about Iran? I'll get to it, so stay with me. Oh my God, there's so many questions. I have to try to remember them. Satanic ritual. Yeah, there's that. Anyway, about HAARP. It used to be that HAARP, for my understanding, back when I first introduced it in 1996, I don't remember that anyone else had ever spoken about HAARP. and the base was in Alaska. There are now HARP stations all over the world. Big one in India, big one in China, etc. And the ultimate wars are being fought by manipulating the weather. You can manipulate starvation, famines, locusts. I mean, look at the hysterical weather. You cannot surely believe these 0.9 9 on the Richter scale earthquakes and locusts and all of the apocalyptic weather is natural. To say, obviously, the planet is tilting. We're seeing a polar shift. So of course there's change, but not like this. The ultimate weapon is weather control. Remember that. Okay, I'm trying to keep up. You know, there's so many of you, and it's just going. Hello from Rio. Thank you. The weather is weaponized. Yeah. And so when you're looking at those beautiful, be grounded spiritualists. Somebody just, it was, okay. Sorry, just had a senior moment. Look at it and ask yourself, not am I seeing a ninth dimensional bleed through, because that's the lingo of the moment, but am I looking at something physical? Am I looking at something like chemical ooze? Do you know what's in these trails? There's aluminum, there's barium, there are more metals. Some people have said that there are shivers of, like fragments of mirrors, tiny pieces of mirror, because they're trying to bounce the light around. And that's exactly what's happening. And that's what you're seeing, light bouncing around. But it's not a natural rainbow. And please stay grounded. The art of Vlad. Oh, I remember seeing you on my, I think you ordered from me. Thank you so much. I don't know what RSD. What is RSD? Whatever it is, 2,500 of it sure sounds good. Thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate it. Serbia. Oh boy, I might just be coming to Serbia. Thank you very, very much. I'll have to figure out what that is so I can figure out if you're the top bidder for today. Thank you. Strontium is also in the chem. Oh, God. Yeah, Corinne, it's I'm really blessed. One of the reasons I'm living here is because I rarely see a chemtrail here. Rarely. Thank you, God. And the symptoms that people are having include, Corinna says, I feel burning on my skin the day after chemtrails. It's really important, unfortunately, to recognize that and to stay inside as much as possible and keep your animals into, you know, and do whatever you can to get out of big cities where they're blasting everybody. Okay, so that's Serbian rupees. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's exciting to see those super chats. So the question was from one of the super chats was, what do I say about Iran? You know, I have been to Iran way back in the day. It's another long story in the adventure life of me. But I was actually engaged to a beautiful Iranian man. And I went there to meet his family, and we were going to get married there. Oh, God. And just after I got there, they had the coup. I was just escaped before that happened, when they took the embassy. So what I have to say about Iran is I've met some wonderful people, some wonderful Iranian people, and that I feel that Iran is constantly being backed into the defense position from countries that are using it as the scapegoat to the Middle East attacks. It's always Iran that's funding everything, all the terror groups. It's always Iran, Iran, Iran. Because without an enemy, you don't have any good excuse to go in and clean house, right? Do you agree with what I'm saying here? Because I'm being political. If there's no enemy, how do you justify to the Western world that you're going into all these Middle Eastern countries and cleaning them out, destroying them? It's got to be an enemy. And right now the enemy is Iran. And, you know, be careful, be wary of animals that are backed into a corner. So I don't believe the narrative. I don't believe hardly any narrative, but I don't believe the narrative that Iran is ready to blow up the world and with its nukes and ready to destroy the West. I think it's quite the vice versa, and that the bullying needs to stop. Oh, that's a great suggestion. Hilary says, write the question before writing a question, put a question mark after it so Patricia can see the difference. That would help because there's a lot to pick up. And, do you feel it again? This group, what a wonderful group of souls. Okay, the children and the abuse. It's a huge subject, Steve, and I don't know that I can really get into it here, but you can be sure I will get into it in another video. So it's just too big to discuss now. But what I can say is that when Trump says, keep your eyes open the next few weeks, you're going to see a lot happening. And it is happening. A lot of people are going down here, and it can't happen too soon. And as you see me making my aggravated teeth thing, nothing to me is more important than protecting the children, saving these children. And, I question also the parents, like, watching priests drench children supposedly in holy water. I so don't think so, almost drowning them. The constant attack on children on every level. And it's a big, big question. And so I'd like to address it in a separate video, and I will. So stay tuned for that, Steve. I'll be only talking about that, and hopefully bringing in someone who can share that conversation with me. Does Iran have stargates? One of the places that I went to in Iran was Isfahan, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world. And God help them if they destroy that too. Because, Syria was a World Heritage Site and now it's dust. Isfahan is a celebration of man and God. Breathtaking. And it doesn't matter religion is not the point. Wherever humanity touches God, expresses God, or spirit, or creator, whatever you want to call that, it's breathtaking. I had a wonderful experience there. Did I experience it being a Stargate? No. But then again, I wasn't as open as I am now, so I don't know the answer to that. But there is definitely in that region, we're talking Mesopotamia and the whole region of antiquity, there's a lot going on. Syria, the Syrian tablets, et cetera, et cetera. Why did they invade Syria and Iraq? They wanted those tablets. That's one of the big reasons. The real story of humanity is in the Sumerian clay tablets. And that was the first thing that happened. You remember when they invaded Iraq? First thing they did was go into the museum and clean out the Sumerian clay tablets. And nobody knows where they ended up. But I digress. Boy, you guys have a million questions. How am I going to handle all this? What are those strange sounds heard in the skies in many places? Well, there's a strange sound outside here. Does that count? Hold on. This is a farmer's tractor. I told you that I live... sorry, hold on. I live surrounded by farmland, and it has its advantages to no end, but I do have the occasional tractor going up the road. Okay, strange sounds. I don't know. I don't know about that. I think that they're experimenting all the time with sound and reverberation on every level. And these are scalar waves, sound waves. We have no clue the kind of weaponry that they're using. My God, you guys, I'm getting overwhelmed. Stop! Give me a breath. Am I aware of physical mediumship and seances? Michael Leonard asks. Of course, I don't particularly like that venue. I don't believe in bringing in spirits into your body. And the problem with mediumship and seance is people are opening up portals on the astral, and that is dangerous, especially because a lot of amateurs that don't really know what they're doing are playing around with that, starting with the Ouija board and seances in general. You better know what you're dealing with, because you might just bring something in that you don't know how to get rid of. So I'm not a fan of that kind of work for spirit. Steve says, about to depart the chat. Oh, okay, Steve. Thank you for being here. Ciao. You're 100% right. Spirit has told me this months ago. I don't know what you're talking about mediumship. I'm not sure. I love the tractor. What do you think about the increasing number of people believing that the earth is flat? Great question. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't. So I really, if anything, I am a proponent of Agartha and the question of the inner earth. I don't like to decry anybody else's belief systems, but I don't for a minute believe the earth is flat. Actually, I think that this is one of many programs that has been tested out on the spirit / new thought, new age communities, just to see how many people would bite. And I'm sure that's going to get some hate mail, and I don't care. But, to each his own. Crop circles. Thank you, Elaine. That was your question. I had it written down here. All right. So Elaine had written to me, please talk about the crop circles and what is their purpose and what is their effect on the earth. So hold on your questions for a minute, because this is going to take a minute to answer. And I won't be able to read them. So just wait for a minute for your questions. Okay. Next week, I'm going to have Andy Thomas, blooper, on my Beyond the Matrix version of my YouTube channel. And he is the go-to guy for crop circles. I've known Andy for 2 decades, and I've been in 150 crop circles. And he is absolutely one of the most knowledgeable people there is. And I've had him speak to my groups. I've spoken at the Glastonbury Symposium at least, I think, 3 times, always directed by Andy. So I thought, the crop circles are coming down. Let's have Andy on. We're going to talk about crop circles and everything else that we can do together, which will blow your minds, because we're both really out there. But as for what I think the impact of the crop circles is, number one, I don't think they're all real. And I know the difference when I'm in them, what feels like the real deal and what feels like a pretty well-made human attempt at a formation. So I've seen a few crop circles this year that look very interesting. I wish I could get into them. But what I think is that what the council told me, these are a lock-on points for interdimensional communication. And at the time when I first had the first experience, they said, pay attention. It's going to be very important for you. And that's when my life took off in this direction. So they are sending, if you were an ET civilization trying to communicate with the earth, trying to communicate intelligence, beauty, creation, wisdom, and love, what better vehicle than sacred geometry? Math communicates higher intelligence. So when you see these extraordinary formations and they trigger your mind to interpret what they mean, but people always ask me, what does the new crop circle mean? And I always say, it doesn't matter what it means to me. Matters what it means to you. Don't let anybody else tell you what it means. What it's doing for the earth, first of all, awakening a lot of people to sacred geometry in general. And then it has a lot to do with the awakening movement, if there is such a thing, disclosure, because it has people thinking more and more about otherworldly events and about extra-dimensional consciousness and ET. But I will get into this deeper with Andy, who is your guide, to ask that question too, because he's wonderful. He's very mystical, but he's also very, very technical. He's the kind of guy that goes into the crop circles and measures them and does the whole bit. So between the two of us, that should be a pretty heady conversation on the 29th. I hope that partially answers and keeps you titillated until next week. Okay. If I were an ET, I'd have sodded off by... That's a British expression. See of what happens to creatures on this planet. Yeah, Lorna, don't give up the hope, babe. It ain't over yet. It isn't over until the fat lady sings. Okay? Biggest harbors in Peru? Oh my God. That's depressing. I didn't know that. Do you have more information, Lisa? I'd really appreciate a link to that. Yeah, I believe in inner earth. Yeah, in the book Atlantis Rising, my book, because there's a few with that title, the Sirians talk about how Agartha formed from the days of Atlantis and how the light beings went into the inner earth because they couldn't hold the frequency of the sun was too powerful for their light bodies. So they went inward, inside the earth. And that's where a lot of guidance for the earth is. I believe that the Agarthan civilization will come out soon. I believe we're going to see that. Hi, Paris. Thank you. Welcome. Well, okay. The inner earth is real. What is not fully understood is that it's seventh dimensional presentation. Maybe. If it's in a 3D planet, there's a 3D aspect to it. So let's keep that in mind. And, let's not hate 3D, guys. Okay. Look at this beautiful world. But yeah, there is a very powerful presence there. And if you haven't read Atlantis Rising, please read the chapter on Agartha. Lizette says, I think flat earth is somebody to get us off track. I think so too. And, to see how people just go for, you plant information, you see, don't you think that these guys have the wherewithal, the powers that be, that want to destroy and own the human race? Don't you think they have the wherewithal to do these kinds of tests on humanity? One of them is, all right, let's see what sticks. Let's plant something, see what the percentage is, what the demographics will be. They've got all this stuff. How many people will buy it? Because it's all part of mind control, right? So, I stand back. I look, the more absurd something is, the more I pay attention to it, because certainly absurdity is my friend, but I have discernment. And my gut reaction is, yeah, I don't think so. What is your honest opinion of what's happening this year? Oh boy. Well, it's July, so it's already, a lot of it has happened. And my honest opinion, Lorna, is that we are in the final showdown. Okay, you asked me to be honest, so here it is. I think that this is a spiritual showdown, and it's in full battle, and perhaps we can even call it Armageddon. I don't think the war that's going on is going to be about China or Iran or anything else. I think it is about the dark and light, Satanists versus the light forces, and the light is going to win. I just thought I'd throw that in because that's what you asked me. What do I really think is going on? I think that we are finally going to break free of the hold of this multi-headed beast that has its claws around the planet. I don't think it stands. I think it knows it can't. And it's in desperate position trying to fight to hold on. But it's losing. Yeah, I'm glad you agree, Bubbly. The light is going to win. The light is winning. And it's, it's painful. Syrian High Council said, these are the desert days. You're finally in them. And it's painful. It's going to hurt. But just remember that on the other side of this is the dawn. And that's where you're headed. And you are the new Aquarians. And that's what you came to do. So, stay strong. All right, let's see. Boy, you're putting me through my paces, guys. Do you think we could see ET beings walking amongst us? I think we already do see them. We just don't, we have an expectation or an anticipation of, lost my chain of thought, what things are supposed to look like. So there's all this talk about 5D, 6D, 7D, and on, and we have anticipation, expectation of what that looks like. All right, interruption. Thank you, Paris. Sorry you have to go. Really appreciate you being here, sweetheart. Take care. Hubby needs help planting. That's important. Plant those trees. Okay, and so it's the same with ET. People depict them. We have drawings and artistry of what they look like. And we're aided by a lot of costumes from the film and arts world. But the truth is that things are never what we think they're going to be like. Just like we are already in 4D and we don't recognize it yet because it's not what we thought it would look like. So there are ETs walking amongst us. There's a lot of ETs on this planet, and they look very human. I ran into a couple of them years ago in the crop circles, which is a discussion for another day because we're already at an hour, and that's about a 15 or 20-minute story. Or do you want me to tell it? If I get enough people saying, yes, tell the story, I'll tell you about the ETs I ran into in the crop circles. No. Okay. I think we're starting to wind down this time. Oops. Here come the yeses. Okay. Right. I was approached by a couple who claimed that they were, oh my God, I have to tell the whole story. I love you guys. Okay, here it comes. Look at you. Yes, 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 yes. All right, here's what happened. I'll tell you the whole story. So you have to stay with me for 15 more minutes, okay? Don't leave me hanging. So I'm going to tell this story, and then I will wind it up, and then we'll do Q&A part 3 next week. Deal. All right, here comes the popcorn. Love that, G. You've got a sense of humor, G. All right, here it comes. So it was when I had produced No More Secrets, No More Lies. I started getting messages from this dude about how extraordinary I was. The most extraordinary channel he'd ever heard. The most precise, the most wonderful, yada, 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 yada. And my antenna went up because, as you all know, I do not want ego strokes. When you have a big ego, and you've seen it on a lot of authors and spiritual leadership types, the aura cracks and in comes trouble. And not only that, but it's not about me, as I've told you before, right? So I'm getting these strokes about how wonderful I am, etc. And my antenna's up, and I write to him, thank you. And he says, my wife and I are yoga masters, 3rd degree yoga masters, Reiki masters, and we would just love to meet you. Is there any way? We live in Italy too. And the antenna is still, avoid this is trouble. But they wouldn't go away. And I told my ex, this feels like trouble to me, these two. He just keeps pounding me to meet him, and I feel like it's bad news. And he said, well, the enemy you know is better than the angel you don't know. or something to that effect. It loses in the translation from Italian. So I agreed to meet them, provided they came to my turf. Because he said, why don't you come to Naples? We'd love to have you here. I was like, yeah, sure. And, red alert, Naples is a huge NATO base. Okay. I go, yeah, and I don't think so. But if you happen to be in Rome, let me know. He goes, we could be there this weekend. Okay. Well, could we go out to lunch? Lunch would be great. Okay. So I arranged to meet them on the highway because I lived outside of Rome. So I figured I'll have them come to the area I know really well so that I can dodge a bullet. If it's trouble, I can take a winding road. This is how I live and escape them. So I said, okay, let's meet on I told him what exit. And I said, how will I recognize you? And he said, oh, well, we'll be driving a black limo with government plates. And I said, oh, well, that sounds intimidating. Light workers with government plates? And he goes, oh, Patricia, don't be paranoid. He said, there are good people working in the government too. I said, really? That's nice to know. There are light forces working in the government. I said, yes, something about light forces equals war and pestilence equals destruction. I'm having a trouble with here. But I went ahead. And when I met them on the exit, here's this big black limo. It looked like an armored limo. And these two people step out, and they're both like 6 foot tall. I'm talking blonde, Aryan to the hilt, white hair, both of them. And they were both wearing sunglasses. And I instantly felt, perceived that there was not a human being in that body, being a psychic and all, right? But even without a psychic imprint or a psychic capacity, there was just something odd about them. They were wearing jumpsuits, and walking oddly. And usually, when I meet people, they call me Mama Bear because I have to hug you. I've got to hug you. Didn't want to get near them. And so we went to the restaurant. And I was so on my guard. I just can't even tell you. Very suspicious. And the first thing he says, he's carrying a bag of books. Okay. He says, I have so many questions to ask you, Patricia. I just can't wait. Oh my God, look at this book. Look at that book. Do you know David Icke? Do you know this? Do you know that? I said, why are we here? He goes, what do you mean? We're your fans. I said, no. Why are we here? What do you want? And he hemmed and hawed, and the wife, so-called wife, she sat there very rigidly. I said, look, I don't buy this for a minute. So I know you work for the government, and I want to know what you want. And he says, look, your book, No More Secrets, pushes the envelope. We both know that, right? I said, yes, that's what I'm here to do. And he says, well, it pushes the envelope. I said, so what are you here to threaten me or what? Do I have to be careful he said something about, we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. He said, I mean, my wife and I love what you're doing. Kept catching himself. So he kept slipping from threatening to passive aggressive number on me. And he said, one of the questions I have for you is, I just want to know, how do you get this information? How do you do it? It's so exciting. I said, what are you afraid that I'm picking up some government radio band that I'm not supposed to be picking up? He goes, there, you're getting paranoid. No. I said, look, listen carefully. What I'm hearing is in the love zone, and you're not in it. So there's nothing I can describe for you. But I get that this is an intimidation, and I just want to know who you are, who you really are. So are you guys still there? Nobody's talking. Is it because I'm talking? I hope everybody's still there. I'm not just talking into the twilight zone. Yeah, you're there? You there? Oh my God. Did you go? All right. You're there. Okay. So I said, who are you and what are you here for? He slaps down. Now, I swear to you on my mother's soul, and I've told you before, there is nothing more precious than that. The guy pulls out his badge. And he slaps it on the table. And I, in all of my composure, look down at this badge and it says his name, which I'm not going to say, Director of Intelligence, NATO, Southern Europe. Do you believe me? Please believe me. It was the first time in my life that I had nothing to say. But I knew I couldn't lose my cool. I could not look afraid because you know how I feel about fear and how they feed on fear, right? Never, ever show fear. So I said, wow, director, big title. He goes, yeah, but he said, like I said before, there's a lot of light workers. I go, spare me the rap. I said, I just want you to know you're paying for lunch. So in this case, since you're the Director of Intelligence for NATO, I want you to know how honored I am that you think my work is so important that they sent the Director of Intelligence. And I might have thought I was bluffing. So thanks a lot, mate. Well, he didn't like that approach at all. And for the little time I remained, I was just on guard, answering questions. Where do you hear this? How do you hear it? How long have you been hearing it? And I said to him, there's something very unhuman about you. He got really rigid, and we called it to a halt. He said, I'm really so sorry that you feel so paranoid. I said, yeah, gee, I wonder why I would be paranoid. Let me think. I get emails from a dude who says I'm the most important person on the New Age planet. We meet. You slap the card on the table that tells me you're Director of Intelligence, and I'm paranoid. Do it. You find out what you need to know, and I'm out of here. So, okay, end of story. 1 year later, I'm in the crop circles. I'm lying in a crop circle in bliss. It was a time that I didn't have a group with me. Just zoned out, and I sit up. I feel something, and I sit up, and there they are, right outside the crop circle, looking down at me. And it freaked me out. And now they're dressed up like hippies. No. More like beach folks. Longer hair, tan as that skin could get. She's got they've got a beach vibe, hip vibe going on, okay? And they're staring down at me, and I went, what are you doing here? And he goes, the Sirian goddess. Oh my God. I can't believe it. How blessed we are. I said, cut the goddess crap and explain to me why you're standing looking at me in my moment in the crop circles. He goes, well, are they just for you? I mean, it's a free country, right? So I got out and I walked away. I just knew that there was no even reason to pretend to be nice. Okay. I just said, I really would appreciate it if you keep your distance from me. Why? Why are you so unfriendly? Just do it. So 1 year later, I'm back with a group. I'm at the tour in Glastonbury, and I had just led a meditation, and we were just standing around, just zoned out. And from around the tour, bingo, there they are again. So they're tuning into me somehow, and I think they're just manifesting, right? Out of nowhere. But they look the whole purpose of me telling you this story is because they look very physical, these two. And other people have seen them, and other people have called them Barbie and Ken, which is what I nicknamed them because they look like they're modeled after them. Perfect little blonde bodies. End of story. The last time I saw them was another year later, and I was in a town called Marlborough, which is crop circle country. And the group was on, we had about a 3 or 4 hour break, and everybody was off doing their thing. So I met with a friend. We went down a back road where there was a little bridge. England is so gorgeous. And a brook and we were going to picnic together in this little park down the stairs from the bridge. At the other side of this bridge, hello Veritas, thank you for coming, was a dead end. So picture bridge, dead end on one side, little road behind me, and I'm standing on this bridge, which wasn't very big. It was like a little stone, quaint little number. And my friend is looking straight at me, and she's saying, so do you want to go down there? Yes, the same beings each time, Morgan. She goes, there's a park right down there. We can take our lunch down there. And she's looking at me, and bam! Now, I'm sure you'll all agree, if somebody is that close behind you that they can bump right into you, you don't have to be psychic to know that. These people walked right into me, the woman, the wife. She bammed into me, and my friend's eyes went, because she was looking right at me. She never saw her. She was looking right at me. She never saw this woman walk up. It's not like she could have walked up the street. It was a small little bridge. There was a stone wall behind me that looked over the water, right? She just appeared. And so did he. They just manifested from another dimension. There is no other explanation at all. And I turned around and I used the F word. What the fuck are you doing here? Sorry, but it was appropriate at the time. And they started telling me how they love me and they're so, it's just a miracle. I said, look, here's some information for you. I am a sovereign being. And you are messing with the wrong person. I am not sharing my story with you. I am not sharing my information with you. You are not getting it out of me, no matter what you think you can do to me. You are messing with the wrong person, and I will mess with you back if you don't disappear. This is our last encounter. Be warned, and I am going to tell everyone I know about you. I said, if you are ET, this is not the approach, because maybe we could have an interesting dynamic, but your method is intimidation. So I'm taking that as trouble. So disappear. Wow, Patricia, I thought you were this Assyrian goddess, a spiritual leader. I go, yeah. Do I need to repeat the message? But I was actually shaking. It takes a lot to get me to that state. And she and I went off to have our, lunch, and she was just blown off the map when she says, here I am in Pat Cori world again. Oh my God, this stuff always happens in Pat Cori world. Oh my God. But I didn't see them ever again since then. So that's my story. And yes, there are ETs amongst us, and you don't necessarily know or see the difference between physical humans, except there is a auric. If you are psychic and you see auric energy, there's no aura. They're like zombies. It's bizarre. I'm sorry you missed it, La Veritas, but it will be recorded and put up on my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to hear it again. E.T. go home. How funny is that sound of life? So that is not to say there are not also great ETs on this planet. We certainly have wonderful connections with extra dimensional beings. And I'm not trying to frighten anyone, but I do attest to the fact that I am quite sure those were ETs. And, why was he flashing a CIA badge? I suppose he was working, they've got ETs working with them. I don't have an answer to that question, but all I know is, and this is how I'm going to close this talk, always remember that I am the chronicle for sovereign space. I am a sovereign being, and nothing, no fear, no pain, no dark entities, nothing, no hooks and all these alien devices people are talking about. Nothing can enter my space. Read my lips and remember to hold that force, because you've got it in you. Okay? We are sovereign beings with every right to hold sovereignty, souls who have come here to help in some way, to participate. Sovereign, whole, integral, and nothing is allowed unless it's of the highest intention. Got it? It's a long story. Thank you all for staying with me while I told it. Wow, 123 people still here. So I'm glad you enjoyed that story. Boy, I sure do have a lot of them, huh? And, just as an anecdote, one of the people in the crop circle phenomenon used to run a place called the Crop Circle Cafe. And he said, Patricia, I heard your story. I mean, do you really think this guy's military? I said, do I think? I said, I saw his badge. He said, because, they're all over the crop circles, these two, Ken and Bobby. I said, yeah, I know, but they're always there when I'm there. How's that? And he said, well, when I see him, I'm going to confront him with it. I said, I really wish you wouldn't do that. I don't need any more trouble with this dude. But he did. He told this guy, Patricia Cori said, you flashed a badge, a military badge. What's on with that? And so this guy, Ken, said, hold on a minute. Girls? Sorry, we have the dog symphony because I think they think it's time for me to get off the phone, as you would. So anyway, when he confronted the guy, Patricia Cori says this. He said, yes, it's true. He said, I worked for the Navy, but I'm retired now. The guy's like 35, right? But I'm retired now. And my guy from the Circle Cafe said, I had a bit of trouble imagining the guy already retired. I mean, he looks like he's just starting. He's a really young guy, isn't he? I said, he's an alien. Because anything's possible out here in this country and all these crop circles. He said, do you suppose they walked in through a crop circle? I said, I don't know. I met them in Rome and now they're here. And all I know is if they were friendly, they should expose themselves in that way. At any rate, hold the message that I gave you about sovereignty because nothing can touch us. And only the highest intention is welcome in Pat Cori world, period. So that's my story. So now the big problem that I have is that out of the 3 wonderful super chats, and thank you again for contributing, I don't remember who gave me the top super chat. So please get in touch with me and let me know. I think it was Terry. Oh my God, I wrote it down. What happened? Let me know so I can send you off your Sirian Seal. And I'm going to do that again on my next live message. And you know what? I have barely touched my hair the whole time. So I may just have to acquiesce to the bobby pin scenario. Oh, Steve, you missed my story. What a shame. I talked about my encounter with aliens amongst us here on the earth. So you'll have to listen back to it. So anyway, whoever it was that sent the $23 or euro super chat, I want to send you my Sirian Seal. So please go to www.patriciacori.com to the contact page and send me your information, address, and reconfirm that it was you that did that super chat. It was 23 euros or dollars, whatever the denomination is on this page. And I will get your seal off to you. Oh, Joanna, I'd love to, but I mean, how do you top that story, right? Oh, there is an anecdote. One more piece of that story. When they appeared, I mean, aside from seriously, when they appeared on the bridge, boom, I turn around and this woman is just like, Patricia Cori. The moment was so intense because, as I said, there was no way in hell that anybody could have appeared at that place without me seeing them or Laura. And it wasn't until she was in my back that Laura reacted. Oh, I wasn't going to name her, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And with these bulging eyes, and to turn around and see them there. You know, you got to have a strong constitution to handle Pat Cori world. Oh, the art of Lad again. Thank you, sweetheart. Oh, okay. So I need to know, maybe it's you who's the highest bidder. So please write to me your information. I have to figure out what your money relates to in dollars. And thank you again, you super chatters. This is really fun having super chat, and I appreciate it a lot. It's a wonderful endorsement and help, because a lot of time goes into this YouTube work. Okay. More questions. You know, I really love the fact that you don't want me to go. It's an hour and a half almost. All right. One more question from H. Morgan. Did you hear the story? But how could you be hearing it? Steve, it is an incredible story. Oh, one thing I was going to say about the story, aside from that moment on the bridge, when they appeared at the tour, they started chatting up my group. And again, oh, you're so lucky to be with the Sirian goddess. And I just turned to him. I said, cut the goddess crap. And it's so funny because lots of people like to call themselves goddesses these days, but I am a humble student of spirit. All right. Let that always be clear. Always. So cut the goddess crap. And he goes, and he turns to the group and he says, you're so blessed to be with Patricia. I'm just like, I want to just grab this guy by the throat. And he started asking everybody, and I'm doing the hairy eyeball to the group, like, careful, who they are, why they were with me, how are they so lucky to be on one of my trips, and where are you from? And this one girl says, Chicago. And he says, is that where you met Patricia? So if there was ever a question, if I was just paranoid, because I was born in Chicago and I was there for an hour. I mean, really, my parents were just passing through. So he knew my records, right? And after he said, is that where you met Patricia? He caught himself. Anyway, so pay attention, okay? It's not everything is what it appears to be out there. Yes, we are friends on Facebook. And yes, I think you ordered some seals from me, and I figured out you're Serbian. The Art of Vlad. That is a very intriguing name. Love to hear about this cut the goddess crap. Yeah, you know, it's not me. I am, you know what I call myself? A grounded spiritualist. Grounded. You are so welcome, Awareness Society. Always remember, I am a sovereign being. And, you know, people are talking about to reach sovereignty, to reach your sovereignty. What do you mean? You are sovereign. You don't reach it. You don't have to learn it. You are a spark of divine light. You are a spark of divine light, a unit of creator. You came in to have a physical experience, to learn, to grow, and hopefully to enjoy. And through that process, never lose sight of the fact that as a unit of divinity, you are a sovereign being. That doesn't mean that you're not one with like-minded spirit and souls, but you are sovereign. You have the right to determine your fate. And let that hold with the question at hand, where people are so afraid of everything and that fearing that they're losing control of everything. Just keep making the right choices. Get me? Oh, another chat. Thank you, Joanna Mishi, Swedish kroners. Thank you very much, Joanna. I really appreciate it. It makes me so happy. It's not just the money, it's the support, you know, it's just a far out thing. Thank you, my dear. Very much. Okay. think I'm tired. So I'm glad a lot of you stayed for the story, because we're still 113 people in the chat. And, I'm really doing my best to amplify YouTube, because I love it. I love coming to you here. And I feel this community growing. I smile a lot, right? You make me happy. Thank you so much. I feel the love pouring back out. Kathy says, so happy your soul is shining bright enough we were able to find you. Oh, what a beautiful thing to say. That's going to make me cry. Thank you. So guys, all right, I am going to wind it up. Yes, I laugh a lot, because you know what? I keep saying I'm going to wind it up, but I just don't want to go. I laugh a lot because, first of all, I have joy in my life. And because I think it is the ultimate expression of spirit. If you think about it, people get really heady and mystical and all over the road about their spirituality. But is there anything more spiritual than laughter? Thank you, Heidi. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Oh, that's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you, sweetheart. Is there anything more magical and powerful and wonderful than laughter? Cortina says, my energy is contagious. That's awesome. So help people laugh and smile and celebrate. I am going to do a video on past life experiences. And when, as I've told you before, when you go and come back, you don't die. And so nothing seems terribly serious as far as what's going on in the world and war and destruction and pestilence, because whatever it is in the drama field of Earth, three-dimensional reality, 3D, 4D, you're just passing through. And whether that's ascension or death or life beyond, I'm going to be talking about all of these things coming up. Lord, you're just passing through, and more awaits you. And what you do with this life has everything to do with what you do with the next. Lorna said she can't stop smiling when she sees my face. What a compliment! I love that. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Let's make sure we do a good job of it. What a drag to get to your last hour. Sorry, that's my dog. Imagine as you're closing your eyes on life and Scoochie, please, you're embarrassing me. And your life flashes in front of you and there's not joy. You flash from scene of despair and anger and pain and suffering. And then you close your eyes. No way. That isn't the way to do this. When you close your eyes, make sure you're laughing all the way. It's been a great ride. Thanks a lot. So long, and thanks for all the fish. I feel like a Chicagoan. Yeah, I'm really grounded. I have to be, because I do this work and I spend a lot of time in other dimensions. And so when I'm not doing that, I'm not fluttering around all the time, day and night. That's my work. That's my commitment. That's my mission. And then when I'm not doing that work, I am grounded in life. I'm planting. I'm enjoying great food. I'm laughing, loving my dogs, living my life. All right, guys. I really must stop, because you won't get bored and not come back or something, right? www.patriciacori.com. That's what it's from. So long, and thanks for all the fish. I love that scene. And eating sourdough. And, Mandy, thanks for mentioning that, because I was on the total health program. I did a 6-day fast. I was rocking it. And then I discovered this sourdough baking. And suddenly I've noticed an increase in the parameters of the stomach. So I'm starting back. I'll be doing another cleanse lemon and hot water for anybody that's interested. I'm going to do 2 days of lemon and hot water. No more cappuccinos, no more bread, and just let get rid of some of that. So the dogs are upset. I'm so sorry about the dogs, but what you going to do? Yes, I know it does. I've got a freezer full of frozen bread. Mandy. Thank you guys for listening. Stay tuned. I'm trying to get at least 3 videos up a week. And thank you for tuning into them. And please spread the word to your friends if they want a little spiritual joy and spiritual laughter and grounded spiritualism, to please subscribe to my channel. All right. This is Patricia Cori signing out. Thank you. Sorry about the dog symphony, but hey, they come with the property. I love you guys, and I really appreciate you staying to the bitter end here to hear my story. Thank you all. And if I didn't get to your question, I do apologize, but it's been a lot of questions today, and I'm just going to do question and answer every week. So we'll get to them one by one. Bless you. Love you guys. Take care.